Hey friends, I'm Pragmatik and I to talk about video games. And the subject I want to cover today is one of video games' oldest examples of video game logic. You know, the sensible solution in a video game that the video game itself doesn't seem to apply? Well, I think in this example, it's not so cut and dry. And I will say, this is Final Fantasy VII spoiler zone material, as well as another spoiler for Final Fantasy V that I cover later. So if by some chance you don't know about either of those, you have been warned. It was the death heard around the gaming world. Players weren't sure what to expect when they saw Aerith head off on her own in an attempt to stop Sephiroth, but what we got, for the time, was more shocking than what we could have ever imagined. But it was here people started to raise a common question. How preventable is this? Could Aerith's fate simply be changed by the use of a Phoenix Down? Well, in this video, I hope to shed some light on that question. To start, we need a little info on the Phoenix Down itself. Bluntly, it's the down feathers of a phoenix said to have the ability to raise the dead. But I don't think it's quite that accurate. Simply looking at the description in the game, the only details it seems to give is that it can restore life. This could mean the dead, but I think it's referring more to a player's HP. And the player, when reaching 0, is simply knocked out, since you don't get a dramatic cutscene every time you fall over. We can assume that Aerith is a little worse off than the state of unconsciousness. So it might be safe to say that the Phoenix Down itself may not be enough to bring our dear healer of the team back to life. But maybe now you're thinking, there are other methods, right? What about magic? What about the Summon Phoenix? Well, let's do a little bit more digging. If you search Tifa's old room, you can find a letter from her former martial arts master after the incident at Nibelheim. The letter talks about him finding her wounded and carrying her to Midgard to get her some help. I find some of his information very interesting. Putting you on my back, I headed down the mountain to the village. I used the cure spell on you many times, and started to head for Midgard, to look for a doctor for you. I didn't like that city, and my cure spells weren't helping. Here we can gather that magic sometimes isn't enough. We can ascertain that the body can be so badly damaged that magic itself just can't fix it. It wouldn't be too far-fetched to think that maybe a revival spell would have the same effect. And believe it or not, this isn't the only example. At a certain point in Final Fantasy V, there's the unforgettable moment where Galuf is on the brink of death. In a desperate attempt to save him, his party tries everything at their disposal to try and revive him. Yet a Phoenix Down and even revival spells couldn't save him. This just further goes to show that these abilities, while useful, really do have their limits. I can't say that these items share the same level of power with those of Final Fantasy VII, but I don't think it'd be too far-fetched to think that they were at least similar. Lastly, we have the Summon Phoenix, and I think this one is pretty easy to explain as well. The Phoenix Summon is incredibly useful as it revives teammates and damages the enemy, but I'd guess that the power is reflective of the Phoenix Down itself, and the result of using it on Aerith would be like that of using a Phoenix Down. I just don't think it'd work. If you want the pure and simple of it, you can't bring Aerith back simply because plot development. It'd be pretty weak if you could just bring everybody back all the time. Why not revive Zack? Why not revive Biggs, Wedge, and Jesse? I think this story would be a lot more lackluster if these items were as simple as we make them out to be. Beyond the sake of a good story, I do feel that there are rules to these items, that they have their limits in these types of situations. I feel like characters like Zack, Dyne, Aerith, they all reached a point beyond help of an item you can literally purchase from the wall market in the slums, and that this goes a little farther than simple video game logic. Hey guys, thanks for checking out the video. Do you agree with me? Does the mighty Phoenix Down have its limits? Or do you think Aerith would have gotten right back up? Let me know down in the comments. Feel free to share and subscribe if you'd like. Also, gently press that like button to earn a sweet new limit break. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep it practical.